Armed soldiers patrolled empty streets on Sunday, April 3, after Sri Lanka's government imposed a weekend curfew. The curfew has been enforced by Sri Lankan President Rajapaksa under the Public Security Ordinance regulations. The nationwide 36-hour-long curfew would run from 6 p.m. on Saturday, April 2 to 6 a.m. on Monday on April 4. This was done mainly to prevent anti-government protests by the public against the president and his relatives.
Having curfew is not going to help anybody. People have to run businesses. People have to, these tuk drivers, they need to they live on a daily wage. They need to run their tuks. They need to go, like every single day people are going to suffer if this is going to be a continuous thing.
Meanwhile, a public emergency has been declared after a violent attempt by furious citizens to break into Rajapaksa's house. Rajapaksa defended the emergency order, stating that it was for the protection of public order and maintenance of supplies and services. This kind of emergency powers in the past have allowed the military to arrest and detain suspects without warrants. Hundreds of people, however, defied the curfew and gathered at several suburban towns and cities. Until now, 664 people have been arrested in the island nation for protesting against the stringent measures laid down by the government. Thousands of troops armed with sweeping powers are patrolling the streets and have been deployed to crush any sign of rebellion. The Sri Lankan government for a few hours on Sunday morning blocked out social media sites and messaging apps only to restore them a few hours later. This was because these virtual platforms were flooded with posts calling people to join the protests against the government. Sri Lanka has a population of 22 million people. It is grappling with rolling blackouts for up to 13 hours a day, even as the government scrambles to secure foreign exchange to pay for fuel and other essential imports. The country is unable to control the rocketing inflation rate as well. American ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, issued a statement that everyone had the right to protest. She added that the US was keenly watching the situation. Meanwhile, the Freedom Party, an ally of the ruling coalition, demanded that an all-party group should deal with the mounting economic crisis. The Sri Lankan government is seeking bailout from the International Monetary Fund and loans from India and China to tide over this crisis. India has recently sent 40 metric tons of diesel to ease power cuts in Sri Lanka, which is facing its worst economic crisis ever. A federal report.